You know, for a lot of folks in the pharmaceutical world, just hearing the words regulatory inspection can make your heartbeat a little faster. But honestly, it really doesn't have to be that way. Today, we're going to turn all that pressure into pure confidence. Think of this as your guide to not just surviving, but absolutely acing your next GMP and regulatory inspection.
So, let me just ask you this, straight up. What if an inspector from, say, the FDA or MHRA walked through your doors tomorrow morning? No heads up. Would your team be calm, cool, and collected, or would it be, well, total chaos? This whole explainer is about making sure you can answer yes, we're ready, and actually mean it every single time.
All right, here's our championship game plan. First, we're going to understand the rules of the game. Then, we'll assemble our all-star team. After that, we'll walk through game day itself, from the kickoff to navigating the main event. We'll even step into the new virtual arena. And finally, we'll talk about the most important strategy of all, how to win with preparation. Let's get right into it. Look, any great team knows the rulebook cover to cover before they even think about stepping onto the field. An inspection is exactly the same. You've got to understand what it's for and the different kinds of inspections you could be facing. So, what are we really talking about here? A regulatory inspection is basically an official review. A health authority comes in to verify that your quality systems are doing exactly what you say they're doing, consistently making products that are safe, effective, and compliant. This isn't some gotcha exercise, it's a verification process. And let's never forget the ultimate why behind all of this. I mean, every single question an inspector asks, every document they look at, every process they observe, it all comes back to this one single non-negotiable goal: protecting the patients who rely on your products. That's it. That's the whole point. Now, inspections come in a few different flavors. Think of them as different game scenarios, right? A pre-approval is like your big qualifier to even get in the league. A periodic routine inspection, that's just a regular checkup. But a for-cause inspection, well, that's when the refs have been called in to review a very specific play, usually because of a complaint or a recall. Knowing which game you're in helps you know where the focus is going to be. Okay, we know the rules. It's time for training camp. A successful inspection is a team sport, 100%, and winning depends on having a solid roster where everyone knows their position and what they're supposed to do. So, let's build that team. First up, you need leadership. You've got your most responsible person, usually the plant head. They are the team captain, the one who greets the inspector and owns the outcome. Then you have your site leadership, heads of quality, manufacturing, engineering. This is your coaching staff, the ones calling the plays. And finally, you've got your escorts. They are the on-field guides, with the inspector every step of the way. And now, let's talk about your star players, the subject matter experts, or SMEs as we call them. An SME is that person who has a deep, almost encyclopedic knowledge of one specific thing. They're not just familiar with it, they are the final word, the absolute source of truth for their area. The role of the SME is so important, but it's also very focused. Here's the one-line summary. They are your expert witnesses, and they testify only on their area of expertise. The best analogy I can give you is this. An SME is like a top-tier heart surgeon. If you ask them about the cardiovascular system, they'll give you a precise, authoritative answer. But if you ask them about brain surgery, they're going to say, that's not my specialty, but let me get the neurologist for you. And that's key. Their job is to give accurate, tight answers, and, just as crucial, to immediately flag any potential issues to the leadership team. No surprises.
And of course, no star player wins the championship alone. You need a killer support crew. Your scribes are the official record keepers, logging every single question and answer. Your runners are the communication pros, moving requests and documents back and forth. And your document controllers, they're like the librarians of the entire operation, managing the flow of info so the inspector never has to wait. It's a well-oiled machine.
The team's ready. Practice is over, and now it's game day. The inspector is here. How you handle these first few moments and how you manage the physical space, it sets the tone for everything that follows. That first hour is like a carefully choreographed dance. The second that call comes in from security, the clock starts ticking. The most responsible person goes to greet them and professionally asks to see their credentials, like an FDA 482, which is their official notice. You inform them of your site rules on safety or phones, but you never force them. It's all about professional courtesy. Then, you guide them to the inspection room, and the opening meeting begins.
And speaking of rooms, this two-room strategy is absolutely critical.
Think of it like a theater. The inspection room is your front stage. It's clean, professional. It's where all the direct interaction with the inspector happens. But then you have the war room, which is your backstage. It's close by, but separate. This is the command center where your support crew is working, prepping documents, discussing strategy, and making sure everything the inspector asks for magically appears on the front stage without a hitch. Now, that opening presentation, it's your first real chance to make a great impression. This isn't just a formality, okay? It's an opportunity to show that management is committed and that your organization is competent. You'll cover the site layout, introduce the key players, give a clear overview of your quality system, and you'll proactively talk about any big changes since the last inspection. You are setting a tone of confidence and transparency from minute one. Okay, the opening act is over. Now you're in the main event. And this is where the human element is everything. What you say and how you act can be just as important as the data in your batch records. So let's lay down the ground rules for conduct and communication. This is your communication playbook. The do's are simple. Be honest, be precise. And you know what? I don't know, but I'll find the person who does is one of the best and most powerful answers you can give. The don'ts are even more important. Do not volunteer extra information. Just answer the question that was asked. Don't guess. Avoid words like usually or I think, and never, ever argue. Listen until they are completely finished speaking before you even think about answering. And just as important as what you say is how you say it. Attitude really is everything. You have to maintain a calm, professional, and cooperative vibe. Do not get defensive. If an inspector points something out, your job isn't to argue. It's to listen. Only answer for your area of expertise. And please, no sarcasm, no personal opinions. This is about facts and professionalism. That's it. Period. Well, the game has definitely changed. In the last few years, virtual or remote inspections have become a real thing. This is a whole new playing field, folks, and it has its own set of rules. You've got to be just as ready for this as for a face-to-face visit. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is straight from the FDA itself. They've made it crystal clear that remote reviews and other virtual tools are now a permanent part of their inspection playbook. This wasn't some temporary fix. This is the new normal. So before a virtual inspection, you need a pre-flight check. You have to get on the same page with the agency on all the logistics before day one. What platform are we using? How are we going to share documents securely? What's the plan for the virtual tour? What are the rules for screen sharing our electronic systems? Nailing these details down upfront saves you from a world of technical headaches and confusion later on. When you're doing a virtual tour, you have to remember you are the inspector's eyes and ears. That means you need to be giving clear, constant commentary. A few pro tips. Have one person speaking from one computer to kill that awful echo. Test your Wi-Fi signal everywhere you plan to go beforehand. Use windows to show sensitive areas, like aseptic cores, so you don't have to bring devices in. And just be upfront about any areas where electronics aren't allowed for safety reasons. We've gone over the game plan, the team, and how to execute on game day, but if you want to know the real secret to winning, it's not what you do during the inspection. It's what you do in all the months and years leading up to it. It's all about having that proactive advantage. Look, at the end of the day, every company has a choice to make, and this slide says it all. You can be proactive, which means you're constantly running your own drills, doing mock inspections, finding your own weaknesses and fixing them. Yeah, it's an investment, but it builds real confidence and puts you in control. The other option? Being reactive, waiting for an inspector to find your problems for you. And that always leads to painful, expensive, high-pressure remediation that puts your whole company on its back foot. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. You have the game plan now. You know all the plays. So if you take a hard look at your own organization, your team, your processes, what is the single biggest weakness that you need to work on before that next inspection call comes in? Because being inspection ready isn't a one-time event. It's a constant state of being. And the work to get there, that starts today.